3D Lace Acrylic and Gel Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you how I did this 3D lace design. This is inspired by a photo I found on Instagram, and when I found it I fell in love with it and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So after I thought and figured it out and watched a couple videos on YouTube and I figured out how to do it, I was so excited and I couldn't wait to share it with you. It's very easy, so keep watching to see how that's done, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well. So to begin, I'm going to create an overlay with a layer of gold acrylic across my nail tip, and the gold I'm using isn't a metallic gold, true gold color. It's more of a soft, shimmery, caramely gold, but use whatever gold you have. This is just the one I had on hand. And I'm just going to make a very thin overlay down the entire nail tip. I am now going to add a shimmery layer by dipping a clear bead of acrylic into a small amount of a shimmer dust and then brushing that on the nail. I didn't want it to be too heavy on the shimmer, just a little hint of it over the nail so that it was subtle. And then I'm going to be adding a layer of clear acrylic on top of that shimmer layer just to protect it and also to add strength. So this is where you want to build your nail structure, so have a nice strong apex and all that jazz. So now I'm going to be filing it with a 180 grit file, and I'm going to buff it with a 240 grit padded buffer. This is just going to make sure that the nail is nice and smooth and perfect and exactly how you want it. So now I'm going to be mixing my gel acrylic mix. So I'm going to take some gel, and it's builder gel, and I'm going to mix in some white acrylic powder. And I'm just going to mix it until it's the consistency that I want. And I also have a little bit of that shimmer dust that I used on the nail that I'm going to add at the end just to give it a little bit of a pearlescence. And I've never done this before. This was the first time, so I didn't really know how much acrylic it would take, and it took quite a bit. And I want it to be a nice, sturdy gel. And this is another thing I wanted to mention. I am using the same product line for everything. I'm using the same brand. And that might not be important, but I thought just to be on the safe side, I would just stick with one brand. So the same gel, same polymer, and the same additive so all of that's the same brand. So now using a gel brush, I'm going to be just placing some of that with a dotting tool onto the nail and then patting it out with a gel brush. And I want to dip my brush into some 99% isopropyl alcohol, and then I can use that to pat it out. And you don't want to wipe off too much of the alcohol. You want it to stay damp. And that's going to prevent the gel from sticking to your brush, because you don't want it to stick like you normally do. You want it to just be able to pat out nice and smooth. And as you can see, it actually worked very easily. I was extremely surprised how easy this really was. So I'm just going to keep smoothing it out until it's absolutely perfect. And that's the nice thing about gel, is that it's not going to dry until you're ready for it to and you put it in your light. So now taking a small dotting tool, I dipped that in some clear acrylic polymer, and then I'm just going to start working out my design. So I went a circle in the middle and then just some lines around it like a flower. And now I'm using a pointed tweezers and I'm dipping it in clear acrylic. However, a pin would work, or a toothpick, or I'm trying to think of something else that's really pointy. You know, anything with a really sharp point to create those nice, very small lines. And then cure that in your lamp. I did 2 minutes in a UV light. So now I'm going to add just another row of this lace underneath it, and I'm going to make each section, I'm doing 3 a little bit smaller. So just add some more of that gel product that we put down, and then smooth it out with your brush, and then make your design with a dotting tool and a pointy instrument. And it's very easy to do because there's no time restriction, and if you don't like it, you can always just wipe it off and start over and do it again. So it's kind of a fun thing to do. It's not something that's very stressful. You don't have to worry about messing it up and ruining the whole thing. It's just sort of a relaxing practice. So now this is the last row of lace that I'm doing. So this circle I want to be definitely smaller than the first one that I made. So I just tapered them down a little bit. And then I fixed up the edge just a pinch with my nail brush again. So now because that cures tacky, and all of those layers I've cured 2 minutes at least, I just painted a gel sealer over them and cured that so that it wasn't sticky when I go to put some foil on this gel paint later. So I'm now using black gel paint, and I'm painting just the outline of all of these circles of lace. And this first layer I'm going to be doing 2, but the first one I'm not worrying about how thick it is. I just want it to be nice and thin and make it so that I know exactly where the outline is. And then later on I'll do a thicker layer to add that dimension. But for right now, just a nice thin layer that's not necessarily perfect, but close to it. And then I cured it for 2 minutes. So now I'm going to be adding that second thicker layer, and this is the reason I want the thickness is because it'll make it easier and it'll self-smooth itself out so that when you press your foil on, it's got a nice good surface to adhere to, and so that it doesn't, the lace doesn't get in the way and prevent the foil from being able to reach the paint, so to speak. So then I cured that for 1 minute and 10 seconds, and then I'm going to press some foil onto it, and this foil is old, so it didn't transfer very well, which is why I've got some splotchiness, but it was just a really pretty wine burgundy color. That's okay that it didn't transfer perfectly. It looked pretty cool in the end. So then I'm going to use acrylic paint, and I'm going to have a very small brush, and I'm going to first create an outline around the outline, and then just a small lacy design with a series of loops around that. And you can do any kind of design that you want around it. This is just the one that I decided to use. It's easy. And then I'm going to add just a hash mark on each side, and then a couple of little pulls on the bottom. And then right above those pulls underneath the lace, I'm going to add a half pearl. And then I'm going to apply top coat. And to attach the half pearl, I put just a dab of gel sealer, and then I cured it. I flash cured it for, I think it was 15 seconds, and then I can just go over with top coat and cure it for the full amount. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this design. Please share any recreations with me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'd love to see them, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!